Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the Fan Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Molina, alongside my co-host, Mike Catos, who stepped away there for a second. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Sorry, guys. I had cramps.
That's great.
But I made it back. I made it back on time, just in time to save the day. All right. So yes, I'm Mike Catos. This is the Fan Experience Podcast.
What happened? The in thing, cramps. That is the start of the show. Cramps.
Yes, cramps. It's tough, man. I had Taco Bell and Taco Tuesday. Got some Taco Tuesday cramps, as they say. No, but so that's how we start the show. That game last night, was fun to watch, and then just back and forth, haymaker for haymaker. Lamar runs in two. They just Chubb 2, Hunt 2, Edwards 2. Like they were just running up the score in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And hey, I was playing against the Ravens defense, so I was absolutely thrilled to see 42 points come out of the Cleveland Browns. So I ended up, advancing into the second round of the playoffs. So I have one more shot to try to three-peat in my league. But that game, Lamar was on fire. And then all of a sudden, he just went to the locker room and, around, midway through that fourth quarter, they brought Trace McSorley in, right? Trace McSorley, is that his name?
Correct.
And then, RG3 was obviously on IR, and McSorley ended up busting his knee. And then all of a sudden, Lamar just comes jogging right back out after spending about 8 minutes in the locker room. They say it was cramps, but something tells me that it was not. Rick?
Yeah, I don't know that you don't go running off the field in a game that's going back and forth because you got cramps. You kind of suck that up there. And I think for all the fans out there, I think we know what happened. I think our friend Lamar Jackson just had to take care of business.
It's a normal human function.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, right?
Especially if you're running for 124 yards like that. Right. Get some stuff, circulating in there, and hey, it's absolutely normal. And the Twitterverse was insane this morning and last night, and even Lamar Jackson, I saw replied to one of them. He's like, y'all are crazy. I definitely wasn't taking a shit. He said.
But it was a tremendous performance by Lamar Jackson. Taking the lead there at the end, and then for if you ever want a game won, Justin Tucker's your kicker, man. You put that guy anywhere and to kick a field goal to win a game, that's your guy right there. The guy's incredible. He hits a 55-yard field goal inside the left upright to win the game. It's incredible. And then here's the other thing on top of everything else. The last play of that game, which got a safety for the Ravens, cost a bunch of people a lot of money last night. I don't know if you read that or not. But
I didn't see how many, but I know that that upset, did get hit because of the safety.
That was just a bad beat right there for that safety. But it was, again, an incredible performance. And, for all of us who, we talk about Lamar Jackson, he still has to learn how to win from the pocket. What the guy does running all over the field, making throws is just incredible. He's an incredible talent to be picked. What was he, 31st in that draft with Baker Mayfield, who was the number one pick, who played a tremendous game yesterday. But again, threw another interception that was just like.
Let's be real. Like, he played, interceptions happen. It wasn't a good throw. But it was also a great play by the defender.
Right, but those are the kind of mistakes you want to avoid in games like that. But be that as it may, he's taken up, obviously, with Kevin Stefanski as a coach there. Baker Mayfield's done an incredible job this year. I mean, he's kind of resurrected his career if you think about it.
The last 2 weeks has been there's been a nice showing with Baker Mayfield because it was all about the run game,
right?
Early in the season, but he threw 4 touchdowns last week, and then what did he throw 3? Yes,
I think he threw 3 yesterday.
A lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, but I mean, he's really he's sort of right, but he's sort of now answered the questions. Was he worth that number 1 pick? But you look at that draft class. I mean, it's him, Josh Allen, it's Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson was the last one of all of them picked. Rosen's out of the league, and Sam Darnold, God only knows what's going to happen with him. So, but a tremendous performance by Lamar Jackson. And yeah, I mean, the story of the game was him running into a locker room to drop a deuce. I mean, you had one of the most memorable Monday Night Football games, and the story coming out of it was that he had cramps and he had to take a dump. So, but kudos to them. Great job by the Ravens. Great victory. And I'd be nice to see if they could see each other in the playoffs again. That'd be really exciting for the league. And let's see if Lamar can lead them to the promised land. We'll see. Obviously the Chiefs are still the top dogs in the AFC. I think they're just a little bored, but what an incredible game last night. Tremendous performance. Yeah,
Lamar Jackson took care of the Browns on and off the field last night.
Literally.
So yeah, obviously the people that lost on the safety, that hurts. You know what else hurts?
What's that?
Jalen Hurts against the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
comes in and resurrects the Eagles. Who would have thought it? He played a great game.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints could not stop him, and they couldn't do much on their own either. But that's another big upset right there. And the Saints fall out. The Packers take the number 1 spot. I don't know if the Packers are going to give it up. They have a good schedule. The Saints have the Chiefs this week. Then they got, I believe, the Vikings, and then I think it's the Falcons to end the season.
Well, I mean, listen, before we anoint,
I think it's the Panthers.
Yeah, before we anoint them, the second coming of whatever it is, or put them in the Hall of Fame. It's one game. Yeah, they won. They played well. But, I think it did give a little life to the Eagles. I think the Eagles needed that after all the sort of, tumultuous stuff going on over there, whether Carson Wentz was the guy or not. I think that win kind of sort of gave that team some life, gave the organization a boost in the arm. And we'll see the rest of the way if Jalen Hurts can sort of, propel them here in the NFC East, because I think this thing is still wide open. Washington's looking like the team to beat, but who knows what could happen in the last 3 weeks of the season. You never know. So, but kudos to him, Carson. I mean, and then, the question is at the end of the year, what do you do with Carson Wentz? I mean, you still owe him $100 million, man. That was a big contract they signed him to. Where does he go? Where are his options? Wait and see. But yeah, great performance by Jalen Hurts beating a tough Saints defense, and that defense is no joke. So that for him to beat that team is great.
Yeah, and by no means was I saying Jalen Hurts is like the savior. I was it was more on the fact that the Saints lost and got upset in that game, and it hurts their playoff picture. They're in, but they're not going to get that bye, and a lot of things can come from that.
I agree with you.
You just never know, and obviously you want that bye, and the Packers have a much easier schedule, I feel, going forward than the Saints do, especially with the Chiefs coming to town this week, and Drew Brees is not expected to be back.
Well, listen, that's a tough injury to come back from, man. I mean, you break pretty much every bone in your chest. I mean, that's an issue. So
yeah, and Patrick Mahomes had a little iffy game this week down in Miami where he won that Super Bowl. Yeah. But we'll touch on that game a little bit more. But we're going to go to Miami right now.
Right now, down to South Beach.
Bring on our next guest. Right now, joining us is Mitch Anthony. Mitch, how we doing?
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with you.
What is
via
up,
remote?
Mitch?
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
We are doing awesome.
I am flying right now. Welcome, Donnie. Donnie, a previous guest, a very good friend of mine.
Yes, Donnie was the one to put us in touch.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So, great to be with you guys.
And you're
Go ahead, Mike.
You're also a good friend with Nick Aquilino too, right?
Yes, we all came from
Awesome.
generally the same area, and we kind of work in the same industry-ish, and we've all came together and collaborated, and yeah, so it's I know we mentioned earlier we need to get all three of us on the air at the same time at some point in 2021.
Oh, without a doubt. We got to have the whole trifecta on. We'll have a nice little round table going. Hey, maybe in Miami.
Yes.
There we go. Right in that spanky new studio that you got going on.
No.
Over there.
How about this? We'll go on location. We'll go to 11. We'll get it sponsored. We'll get Bottle Girls, and we'll do it right. Okay. Miami style.
I'm in. Dude, sign me up. I'm in.
Multi-hour podcast till 5 a.m. How's that?
Yes.
All good.
When we walk out, the sun's coming up, and you're kind of just like dazed and confused, but it was a great time.
Yeah.
Well, we have we're getting better than anything on TV reviews. Thank you, Andrew.
TV is overrated.
We try. We try to bring you that entertainment, and hopefully, everyone else out there thinks the same. So Mitch, let's we always start at the beginning. Why do you love sports? Like, where did your love for sports start?
Oh man, I think my love for sports initially started through the lens of a camera. Ultimately, when I was a kid, that was really where I found my love for sports, and it was football at first that I saw through that lens. And my brother played for a predominant high school football team here in South Florida, St. Thomas Aquinas. I'm sure you're familiar if you follow high school football. And he played on the Dream Team, which was like 09, 10. So, you're talking about championships, constantly on TV, Fox Sports, ESPN, just constantly on that national televised stage. So firsthand as a kid, I was like 10 years old or something like that. I got to see firsthand just how a sports television broadcast gets produced, which was like, it was mind blowing, like as a kid. I've always loved technology, all things technological, very much the systems and processes that like run our world and specifically broadcast and media, anything visual and audio, definitely up my alley. So getting to see that in person was really cool. Funny enough, because it was a high school environment where they were broadcasting this, I was able to like kind of finesse the access a little bit, and I was actually able to be alongside the crews that put those events on. So I was like literally right next to the camera guys that were, working for ESPN and Fox and, CBS Sports and stuff. So getting to watch that firsthand was just like, they put the bug in me, and it was like, all right, so this is what I'm going to do. I don't know where this path is going to take me, but definitely somewhere within these bumpers is where I'm going to land. So yeah, that's where it started. And then from there, it's just been building up and networking and getting better at what I do and just really having fun. That's what I do. I literally do what I love for a living, and I do what I've dreamt about as a kid for a living, which is like, sometimes I look back, it's mind blowing. So I'm just super grateful to be where I am, and I'm having a great time.
That's all that really matters. I mean, as long as you love what you're doing, everything else is secondary. You'll make money, you make a living, eventually, as long as you love what you do day in and day out. Like me and Rick are loving this right now, and we just started it, and honestly, the only regret that we have is not starting it sooner. But obviously, we love sports, and we wanted to talk about sports. We want to talk to people about sports, and hear their stories. And it's funny that you mentioned taping high school games and stuff. Like, I tried doing that for a little bit when I was in high school, and the funny story, I just wanted to do it so I can get a free prom trip because I was a junior. And then I got chosen to go videotape at the prom. It was like me and like two other videographers, and they were a lot more like gung ho about it. They're like, "Oh, we'll do it." So I just chilled at the prom for free, didn't have to pay a dime. Went, and it was it was a senior prom, and I was there as a junior. I ended up going to 3 proms.
That's another great perk to my job, to be quite honest, is I get, and I'm sure we'll get into it eventually, but I get a front row seat to like the coolest stuff that people can only usually watch through a screen. and it's phenomenal. Not just sports. I mean, I know primarily we're going to talk about sports here, but I do a lot of other things, music and concerts and just,
we're definitely going to get into that.
Okay, cool. So the whole spectrum, and it's sometimes I have those pinch myself moments where, yeah. So no, I got you. I didn't get into it for the access, but it's definitely a perk that I get to brag about every now and then.
Yeah. So first, Mitch, thanks for coming on again. You're a Florida guy, so you have allegiance to all the teams. But when you were growing up, learning sort of when I think of sports, I think of like NFL films and Greg Sable and all that. I mean, who were some of the people that you looked up to when you first started, videoing games or entertainment things or of that nature?
You know what? Because I was at such a kind of local level, I guess it's names that you wouldn't know. Yeah. But they were responsible for, the same white-haired directors that wear the Tommy Bahama shirts that sit in the trucks and call the show. Those are the guys who, I was pretty much like next to and familiar with for all that time. But yeah, no, I mean, if you talk about innovators, sure, you talk about NFL films and all that they've done. I still look up to them and trying to achieve that level of through the lens, just the gear that they use and all of that. It's really phenomenal. They're not just using off the shelf stuff. They're really putting some thought into it. So I don't know if I could really point out specific names, but honestly, a lot of my coming up was through the internet as well, because, I grew up when the internet was really just booming. So the start of YouTube and all of that, and just where the internet has gone now. So self-learning for me has really just been huge. I can't tell you, there's a whole production playlist that I have on YouTube where if I see something that I learned from something, it'll go directly into that playlist. I can always reference back to it, and it's giant. It's just been growing over the years. So self-taught for sure. But yeah, definitely look up to the guys who do it nationally, 100%.
Nice. And so from a viewer's point of view, we see some of these shots and we're amazed, right? And we get this rush of emotion when we see it. But what's it like for you to be able to film something like that live on the moment? I mean, tell us what emotions go through. How do you? Yeah, exactly. Do you stay still in those moments? What happens?
So it's different. It may be different for if I were to take you or to take anybody else who's never kind of done it and just throw them into that situation. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be. But it's been a lot of hard work on my part, and definitely a lot of, like I said, self-learning and training and just getting better at what I do and better at what I do. So usually when I step into a role where I'm, doing something that directly impacts live on air look, I'm usually not super, like this. It's pretty laser focused. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can say laser focused, because I'm the kind of guy who, I could be operating a camera that is live to millions of people, and you could be sitting right next to me and I'll just be like, yeah, watch this. Woo! I like to have fun with it. But then there are those guys who are really, and I work with some of these guys sometimes, and God bless them, they're fantastic at what they do, but they are just laser focused. They cannot have a conversation with you. They are just in the moment, and we get the same result. It's just different ways of working. But some of the camera systems that we work are really crazy, and it is cool as a kid watching on TV or before having stepped into it and being like, how did they get that shot? Or how does that work? And then seeing it, and the guys who build it and innovate it sometimes are there making it work, and they'll just run you through the whole thing because they're nerds too. They're nerds just like me. So if they love questions about the camera rig that they built, particularly the cable cam guys. They innovate that cable cam in the stadiums and in arenas. And if you have questions, they're just like, oh my gosh, yes, I'll tell you everything there is to know about it. So that's another way to learn it and just showing that passion and getting in with that. But yeah, no, it's really fun to work on innovative camera systems that really trick audiences into being like, how the hell did they get that shot? And I'm just like, it's me. Joystick in it.
That's great.
Oh man. Yeah. So I wanna talk about this swanky little pad that you got going there over there. And let's talk a little bit about MAD. Tell us what MAD is and what you guys do over there.
Mad is my media company. I started that a few years ago. I hate doing this sometimes, but I'm going to tell you how old I am. I don't know did I do it in the questionnaire? Did I already?
I don't think so. No, I
I
don't
don't
think
think so.
Ooh, okay. Don't let this beard fool you. I am 23 years old.
so. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Usually on the other end of that, they're like, wow. So I'm 23. So I was in high school actually just a few years ago. So I'm kind of a baby, minus the facial hair.
Yeah.
But so I started this company, Mad, when I was in high school. MAD, those are my initials. So very much I am my company and my company is me. I am the face of my company pretty much. But we do a lot of different things, ranging, like I said earlier, ranging from sports broadcast to other kinds of live broadcast, internet streaming, television, commercial television, music festivals, concerts, music videos, linear, non-linear media, just really a whole hodgepodge of different stuff. And really, I love that because no 2 days are different. Every single day, it's like a new thing. Like you could go from shooting reality TV one day to doing a music festival the next day, or doing Operation Support Service the next day. And it just keeps you fresh, and it's really fun. And it's like, all right, what's next? It's never like, oh, another one. Here we go. So we do a lot of different things. I'm having a blast doing it. I'm not jaded yet. Hopefully I won't hit that point anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm so diverse in the work that I can do through the company, in terms of the spaces that we operate in, but they all primarily fall in live media, live entertainment, and things of that nature. So yeah, we pretty much do everything. If you need it, we can do it. If it's seemingly impossible, we'll figure it out and we'll get there together.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about, some of the events that you've participated in and been able to videotape and, and set up, whether it's through MAD or, or through anything else. Like what was like the highlights of your career so far?
I guess we'll start with this one because it is sports related. This was actually the last sports related event that I was a part of, and it was Super Bowl 54 here in Miami at Hard Rock. That
Wow.
was crazy. That was it didn't really feel like a pinch me moment because, like I said, I had worked hard to get to this point, and I'm not necessarily working towards specific things. I'm really kind of just going with the flow and where it takes me. And I've kind of learned to love that, like, okay, let's see what life brings next. And if I can work as hard as I have leading up to this moment, the next thing that will come will be really cool too. So I'm not worried at all. But the Super Bowl that was really cool. Initially, that started as 2 days, and that spiraled into a whole month of work, which anybody who has worked on the Super Bowl or a show like it knows that you don't just work the actual day of, you're usually working like the months or weeks leading up to the event to get everything done. But that was really cool. So I was in the art department for this particular show, ensuring that all of the sets that you see on NFL Network were polished, ready to go, TV ready, and they adhered to the design specs that NFL Network had designed and put forth. So we were responsible for several sets, one at Super Bowl Experience at the Convention Center, 2 at Radio Row. We had like 4 on South Beach, all next to each other, pointing in different directions, so they look like different sets. And then, of course, you have the presser sets at the hotels for the teams and NFL HQ, and then, of course, the stadium. So it was really a huge undertaking all across the city of Miami. And it's all cool. It's all like connected by fiber optics, and everything is interconnected, and you can see everything from the master control room and PCR and Culver. So that was really an interesting thing. That was like that was probably the biggest show that I've ever been a part of. And the Super Bowl and the NFL is just a very well-oiled machine, and it is just phenomenal working with all of those guys. And very, very seldom is there a hiccup that happens because the money that they just pour into it to ensure that there's redundancies upon redundancies upon redundancies. So if you run into a problem, it's like, nope, no problem. We got to back up, throw it in. So it's high stress, but it's also just like super refreshing and a pleasure to work in that environment that's so well polished and maintained. So that was my last sports related gig. It's been many months. Obviously, sports has kind of been on a hiatus in terms of broadcast. I mean, obviously it's still happening. Even they let some fans into the stadiums and arenas now. However, everything has been kind of scaled back due to COVID. So crews are condensed and everything is kind of, I don't know what the word is, just really shortened up. And so it is what it is. But hopefully 2021, that'll start to lift off again and we can all kind of get back to our thing. And hopefully I probably won't be there for Super Bowl 2021 because, like I said, everything is pretty condensed now, skeleton. But 2022, hopefully.
We'll be there right there with you. We're going to SoFi.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Rick, you could.
We're gonna be down there in SoFi. You know, one of the things I was wondering, were your team part of the Super Bowl halftime show? Like, what's that? So for somebody like who's in your kind of work, what's that like to sort of film something like that, to be a part of something like that? Like what goes into that kind of like work?
So I was not a part of the halftime show itself. A lot the Super Bowl as a whole, people really see it as one event. But if you work it or if you know any of the behind the scenes stuff, it's very compartmentalized into these very specifically built teams for these specifically built segments, I guess you could say, that ultimately make up the Super Bowl. So the halftime show, it's like its own team who work on that year round. As soon as the last halftime show is done, they immediately roll into the next one and they're starting to work on it. I know people who were a part of it, good friends of mine who were a part of the halftime show, and I know what goes into it. It's very, very high pressure, very scripted. All of the camera movements that you see and all of the camera cuts and calls, they are scripted to the millisecond. There's a timer, there's timers on timers and timers, and there's sheets. And we use an app called Q Pilot, and everything is scripted in rehearsal. Camera 1, 2, 3, all those calls are dead on accurate. And then really all the camera guys and everybody knows exactly where to be. It is a giant, I don't know if we can curse, but it's like an organized clusterfuck, but it's fantastic.
Here we go.
It's a well-oiled machine. And and if you've ever worked that environment, you're like this the whole time. But it's great. It's fantastic. And it's very high pressure. It's very scripted. And come the actual time, there's never any mess ups because everybody knows exactly where they need to be at exactly the millisecond they need to be at. And it all magically comes together and through this culmination of hard work and planning. So it's fantastic, though.
That's incredible, Mitch. So you've done the Super Bowl, young guy, 23. Where are you taking your company? Like, what are some of the events you're looking at after post-COVID? What are some of the events you're looking to do? And are you looking for a certain niche with your company? Like, do you eventually, as the company grows, you want to stay within a certain realm, so to speak?
No, I do not want to be niche at all, or niche if you're an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a certain category because that's when the monotony starts to kick in.
Yeah.
And that's when you start doing the same thing over and over and over. God bless it. I loved working the Super Bowl. It was fantastic. But if I only worked on the Super Bowl, not that I'd be soul crushed, but it would just be the same thing over and over and over, even though you're in a different city, different teams, different, parameters, but it would just be the same thing over and over. Right. In terms of where I want to go as a goal, I don't have a very specific goal. Like I said, I'm really just having fun right now, going with the flow and working hard on the things that come to me. And those will eventually lead up to bigger things and better things will come. So I'm not worried about where I'm going to end up. I know it's going to be somewhere really cool. And I think one of the reasons why I kind of justify that is because take the Super Bowl, for example. Some people work their whole lives and careers to get to that moment of working that event. And, I could be working alongside like a 45-year-old guy who worked all that time to get there. And I did it like in half the time. So if I figured if I can do that, where will I be when I'm 45? And I'm just like, all right, my mind is at ease. I'll be fine. But like I said, I'm having fun with it. I'm just going with the flow and good things will come.
Hey, that's like I said, that's all that matters. So I want to touch, you said, all this stuff going on at the Super Bowl. Our guest on Thursday night, said he went to Podcast Row or Radio Row. How does that all work over there? Because we're curious about, I don't know if you know anything about it, but, we would like to, try to get over there and get onto Podcast Row now that we're podcasters.
That would be awesome. I would love to see you guys there when we come back. Yeah, so Radio Row, it's funny. Everybody thinks radio is like FM, AM, and stuff like that. Really, the whole infrastructure of everything, podcasting, radio, television has all really gone IP based. So it's very much internet. Everything is internet there. Internet infrastructure is mind-blowingly huge, and huge redundancies go into it. So everybody who's broadcasting from Radio Row via the internet or via radio, whatever outlet they're on, or podcasting, it's all internet. So literally everything is Cat 5. So you guys can just come in and hook up. It's fantastic. But
that's great.
Yeah, it's a giant room. I can send you guys pictures later. But it's really a hodgepodge of podcasts and radio and television outlets that all just come and set up their stuff. And it's a really cool environment because you see some really cool cats and really cool characters walk in there to be guests on these shows and everything. So over here, you could have, insert giant football player name here, and over here you can have insert random celebrity here too, who might live in Miami and have a house on Star Island. So It's really cool. I would love to see you guys there. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, I know who we're calling to help us set up our studio over there on Podcast.
There you go.
Row.
That's right.
I'm in.
And it's going to be in LA, so celebrities will be in attendance over there for sure. So talk to us about obviously we got introduced from Donnie and we had Nick on. How did you guys all get together? What was you said you worked together, and I know you do work with Nick and his music and stuff, but talk to us a little bit about the backstory there.
Yes, Nick, I met. I was doing an event back in. This was like one of the first events that I had ever kind of done the entertainment for, and I was trying to fill slots, and I was young, and Nick was young, and I was like, okay, let's book him. So I booked him for that show, and as he was leaving the event. It was the first time we'd met. As he was leaving the event, I chased after him. I was like, I like this kid's vibe. I think he's going somewhere. Maybe we'll collaborate one day. So I chased after him and I got his number. And then from there, we've just developed a friendship, and we've been involved in each other's kind of career paths and stuff like that. So that's how I met Nick, and we're friends to this day. Nick, if you're watching, I love you, buddy. Donnie, I reached out to Donnie on Facebook, actually, back in 2012. He can corroborate this story, I hope, if he remembers. I reached out to him and Tony, pop in the chat, buddy. I reached out to him on Facebook in 2012. He was either still at UF, School of Communications, or he had just graduated, and I was really just trying to pick his brain, I saw what he was doing. I saw what he was in school for. I thought it was really cool. I was like, this guy seems like he knows what's up. So let me pick his brain and ask him all the questions that I could possibly think of. And, maybe one day we can meet. And we ended up meeting at an event that we were both working. It was I can't remember what year, but it might've been the 2013 or 2014 WGC Cadillac Championship for Golf Channel at Trump Doral. Okay. And that's where we met. That's where we finally met up, and we just kind of shot the shit and hung out and just vibed. And ever since then, we've been good friends. And I have been blessed enough to where I've been able to have him come on to a lot of my projects and just really use and abuse his expertise, I guess you can say. I really like the style in which he works and his eye. Really, I love his eye, the way he shoots. So we actually just what was it, Donnie? 2 weeks ago, I feel like you're here. I'm sorry. 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, we just worked together on a docuseries down in Miami, and I specifically wanted to bring him on just because I love the way he shoots and the way his eye is, and he's really down for all the cultural stuff that we were shooting and stuff. So he was just like a perfect fit, and he'll continue to be a perfect fit in whatever I do because he's very versatile, and he's just he's a great asset to have.
Yeah. It was obviously a pleasure, connecting with Donnie. He was one of our, what was he, like our 10th guest?
Yeah, he was.
And he's been helping us, since that day, really, giving us tips on, how to, further, improve the quality and the audio, and video.
That is the
he told
other
me to get
thing.
the DSLR, but that's we're gonna get that.
That's the other thing about Donnie too that I love. You could bring him in just for one thing, and if he sees potential in it, he will just really sink his teeth into it.
Yeah.
And he'll just try to help you out and develop it and make it the best that it could be, you know? And that's another reason why I really like him, because he just has that mind of seeing things a little different and seeing what's the potential of this. Where could this go? He could have just came on the podcast and been like, yeah, all right, see you guys never. All right. But
he's great. Yeah.
Low key, he's been communicating with you guys, and he's been trying to just help you out behind the scenes and just make it all it could be. And God, I love that guy.
Yeah, Donnie likes a good beer too, man. I was buying a beer. He's like, "Is that a good one, man? Let me know what's up with that one." I was like, "Yep." I was like, "Yes, indeed."
And you know why? Because he's done a lot of the lifestyle stuff for Golf Channel. He kind of, I guess I could use the word pioneered the lifestyle side of Golf Channel and Golf Now and those apps and stuff.
Yeah.
So he very much integrated golf with the lifestyle, fashion, culture, food, drink, location. He's very much taken that and merged it with golf to give them like a successful series of now they can play on this. And so it's two worlds that he really loves, and he's combined them. So yeah, he's all about the beers and the cultures, and he eats a ton of good food through his job. And one of the projects he was working on was Fairway to Table, which was at all of these golf courses and resorts, the 5-star amazing food that comes out of there and is paired with the golf course. So it's really cool. You can go check that out.
Let me ask you, Mitch, this. You're 23, but you seems like you've done so much. Have people started reaching out to you and said, "Hey, how do I break in? What do I need to do?" Like, are you starting to become a mentor to some young people out there?
Yes, I tread very carefully on that. I don't like to use the term influencer because I think it's super cringy.
Okay.
I feel like influencers are always trying to sell you something and like, here's the link in my bio and here's the promo code and I know everything. I'm the greatest. So I like tread very lightly on that. But yes, I do get reached out to quite a bit by younger people who see what I do and try to want to break into that space. And I'm still kind of learning how to approach that situation because my upbringing through this industry was atypical, and it was not something that I could really like say, do it exactly how I did it and you'll be where I am. So it's kind of tough. So I'm still kind of dancing around how to approach that question, but I do get approached by quite a bit of people, usually younger, and they just want to be where I am. So I try to help them out as best as I can. I give them advice. I'll never like give them one path, like, hey, you need to do this and this and this, and you'll be good. So I just give them like advice now and then. They can always contact me if they have any questions, and we'll just shoot the shit. And the other side of that is I'm constantly looking for people myself to bring on to new projects, and it's a very interesting dynamic to be where I am because usually I'm the head of things, the producer, right, I guess you could say. So very easily you could make or break a career. Well, not break, but you can make a career by bringing somebody on and just kind of teaching them and letting them, get hands-on and stuff like that. And that's kind of what happened to me. There's been several people that saw potential in me and kind of just brought me on and let me do things on their productions. And that's, I love those people, and they're still good friends of mine today, and I bring them onto my productions and they bring me onto their productions still. So it's cool. It's just like getting to work with your friends all the time. So the other side of that is I'm looking for new people to bring on sometimes and see who I can, not to be like up on my pedestal, but who can I make,
Right. That's incredible. Now, do you mostly do a lot of your work in South Florida and Miami? I mean, do you travel the country? I mean, obviously with COVID, the situation is a little different, but do you travel the country, or will you begin to travel the country to do more of your work once the world comes back to normal, so to speak?
So before and presently, I do travel a bit. I'm not constantly in a different place. I'm usually here in South Florida or here somewhere in Florida. And there is a lot of work down here. You just have to know where it is. But I do travel every now and then, usually stateside. I usually don't travel abroad for projects. I like to stay in the US. But, I think when the world starts to come back to a normal way of life. I will like to travel a bit more, not only around the U.S. but around the world. I think there's definitely some cool travel plans that are coming up for me, which I can't talk about at the moment.
That's fine.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for things to come back in full swing, and I travel enough to where it's still fun for me. You know, I know people who have done the flights to across the globe and back, and just like multiple times a year, and they're just so like, I am done with traveling. No, so I'm kind of still in that middle phase where I'm kind of having fun with it, and I like to see new places. So yeah, I do like to travel quite a bit, and I'll do more of it when we get back to a normal cycle of life.
Yeah, Donnie has chimed into the chat. Says it sounds about right. So the fact line up and true future TV.
That was the series that we were just working on together.
Whatchamacallit? So you said you like to travel. So what are some of the places that you've gone to for work that that you've really been like blown away about?
Blown away. I usually don't get blown away now.
Not blown away, but where outside of the States, where have you gone that you really enjoyed?
I have not. I've only traveled one place outside of the U.S. for work so far, so it wasn't super exciting. But in the States, probably the coolest work trip that I've ever taken was I toured with a band a few years ago. And the leg was Arizona all the way up through California and then all the way back down. So that was really, really a cool way to see the West Coast, which it was the first time that I was on the West Coast and seeing all of that. And I was seeing it by bus, bus tour for music. So that was really cool. So not only was I getting exposed to the West Coast and that whole vibe, which is really, really different than what I'm used to on the East Coast and have been in for so many years, but also adjusting to life on a bus, which was really cool, actually. And I'd like to do it again sometime, but it was really cool just being crammed in a nice bus with like 6 to 8 other people, and you develop those relationships in close quarters, and that bus is your home for several weeks, which we were on the road for several weeks. So we started in Peoria, Arizona, and we went as far north in California as Humboldt, California, or Arcata, I think, which is really, really north. Like they're just growing hemp up there, which is. And so we came all the way back down. So we got to spend a lot of time and a lot of off time in Los Angeles and Escondido and San Diego and Palo Alto. So it was really definitely the best way that you could possibly experience. It was like taking a really extended road trip, and you're getting paid for it, and you're getting to do what you love. So it was just like a win-win. So that was probably the coolest work trip that I've ever gotten to take so far.
I mean, hey, it sounds like a blast to me. No close quarter buses in 2020.
No. Unless you're getting COVID tested, which is the thing now. Yeah. So
true that. So you also recently did some work with a UFC fighter for what was it, Masterclass? So talk to us a little bit about that.
It was not Masterclass. It was a brand similar to Masterclass. You'll see a bunch of these popping up now. So it's not exactly Masterclass, but it's the same concept where an influencer per se, or a high notable figure will come in and just basically school you through courses and try to get you to be the best at that craft. So it's subscription based. So the company that was doing this got Jorge Masvidal, which is the UFC fighter, UFC champion actually, and he was teaching self-defense and street fighting. So, and he's a badass too. So getting to work with him, it was really cool. I got to spend some good quality time with him. We ate meals together and we just spent some good time. So that was really cool. It wasn't necessarily like a pinch me moment, like I said before, because, you've worked to get up to this point and it just kind of just like, okay, this is the next thing that we're doing. And that was it. So that was really cool. I got to direct him and produce him and just be super upfront with him. And kind of adjusting to different personalities, like high profile personalities.
Yeah.
You know, you're on a schedule, you got to get shit done. You got to shoot this, and this, and we got to be done by this time. And then, so you have that schedule that you're trying to adhere to. And then you have his schedule that he wants to be on. Yeah. And so just finding the middle ground between that and saying like, hey, dude, we got to do this now. Like, time is money. So kind of being stern with high profile figures is something that I'm kind of learning too. But that was really cool. Yeah. Just to, you know what? Maybe the coolest part was getting to brag about it. Probably. That's like one of the cool parts about working with some of these like really famous people. It's not a big deal to me. Like, it's cool. I watch UFC, but it's not like, oh my God, I get to work with this guy. But it's everybody else who comes at you and like, dude, you just did the thing with this guy? Damn, like that's super cool. And I'm just like, this is what it is, you know. Just another day.
You know, it's funny. It's like, you know, you got to be stern. You gotta put down the law with this guy that could put you in a submission in 0.3 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you say? I need to what? I need to do what?
Yeah, but I like working with the talents that really understand kind of the production side of it or the business side of it. They're not like drama queens, and he wasn't. You know, getting stuff done. They know that time is money, and they're all about the business. They're trying to. He was invested in that course, so very much he knows if he does this correctly and he follows the plan that we put out, that the course will be successful and he'll in turn make money. So I like working with a lot of the people who are personally invested in whatever venture we're shooting or something like that. I love working with the talent who's also like an executive producer on the project, because they know what's up behind the scenes. They know what we have to do, and they're not just like, yeah. So that's really cool. Getting to work with a lot of different kinds of personalities in front of the camera and behind the camera too. That's really interesting. Everybody's got their own unique style of doing it. You just kind of you just gotta roll with it and make it happen.
You know, are you comfortable like with like type A personalities, alpha males, or like, you know, I don't want to say divas, but like, you know, personalities like that where you got to be like, look, we got to get this done, this, and that. I mean, are you comfortable sort of being the, you know, confrontational with them, knowing that things got to get done for their benefit?
Yes, sometimes. So it depends what position I'm in.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. If I'm kind of somewhere at the top of the food chain on the project or the production, then yes, because it is necessary. And especially if it's through my own production company and I've got a payroll of people that I have to get out of here by a certain time, or I'm going to go over budget. Absolutely. I have no problem bitch slapping somebody around like, hey, we need to get this shit done, my friend. So yeah, working with type A personalities, that's a big part of it. I do like to work with the betas sometimes just because it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really the industry is you got to work with all different types of people. Sometimes it's unfortunate you have to fire people and it's just how it goes, but it's just part of it. And learning to deal with many different types of people is definitely a skill that I've picked up and I'm very good at. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm able to fit myself into all of these different kinds of categories in the industry. Like I said, I don't do one specific thing. I can kind of shift my shape and kind of Tetris myself into whatever. Yeah, shape shift into whatever project you got going on, and we'll just make it smashing.
So what's the next project? So for our viewers who want to catch some of your work, what's the next thing you're working on so they can go check it out?
Well, I have to be careful. The next project that
don't reveal anything if you can't, but you know. Yes.
NDAs are a very big part of what we do. Unfortunately,
look at that. Yeah.
I'm attached to I'm attached to two different series right now. One of them is True Future. That's a really cool. I can talk about that one.
Okay.
That's really cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Joe Mullings. He is a med tech guru. He's actually he does a lot of med tech staffing and recruiting in that industry. So if you have a biotech or a med tech company and you need to staff that thing, you give him a call and he just goes to work recruiting from the bottom all the way to the top. So he's built that business since 1989, I think. And he's very much a fan of just cool stuff. He's a super cool guy. He loves going out to shoot cool things. He loves culture. He loves art. He loves, obviously, med tech. He's very passionate about it. So True Future TV is something that he started a few years ago, and it basically just documents and highlights not only different cool sectors of the med tech industry, but also how they kind of mesh and synergize with culture or what the area that they're based in and what's around there and stuff like that. So the previous season, they went to Israel to look at a bunch of med tech startups over there and how they do things. That was really cool. And here we just shot in Wynwood, actually, in Miami. It's a neighborhood in Miami. You guys know. Yeah. So there's a ton of culture going on there. Obviously, with the street art, we just dove in super deep with the guys who do all of the art on the streets and the murals and everything. And we really dove into that, as well as, I don't know if you guys know, but the Wynwood area was very much a Puerto Rican based community. And yeah, many years ago, well, not many years ago, but this is actually kind of recent. It's kind of being gentrified by big corporations, and the Puerto Ricans are being kind of pushed out of that neighborhood to make way for, the trendy, arts and bars and everything that costs 3 times higher than it should. So it is interesting to dive into that, and that's what we very much do. I won't go too much into actually what we shot there because it is forthcoming and we will see it. I want the viewers to watch, but you can definitely check out what they've done in previous seasons and what we're going to be doing in the next season. TrueFuture.tv, common spelling, TrueFuture.tv. So that's the series that I'm currently attached to. And then there's some other stuff, like I said, I can't talk about, but it's all good stuff. As soon as it becomes known, I will post it to my Instagram and off to the races. Enjoy.
Yeah, and please let everybody know, what your Instagram. I'll let them know how else that they can reach out to you if they need, assistance. Now, do you're mostly in Miami right now, but you do travel, so obviously you're open to any jobs.
Yeah. I will, if the money is there, not only for myself, but if the budget is there to do it correctly and the way it should be and the way I need to do it, then yes, 100% I'm in. I will go wherever I need to go to get it done, and I will do it with a smile on my face. Absolutely. But yeah, I think you linked to Instagram in the description, probably somewhere.
Yeah,
I did on Instagram. I don't know if it's on the podcast description, but just on the Instagram one, I think.
At Real Mitch Anthony. Easy.
There you go.
Awesome. And email, website, just let them know, any way that they can reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. Instagram is honestly the best way. That's like the portal to everything else right now. So website, email, phone, and that's where I post all my stuff too. So if you want to see what I'm up to, Instagram it up.
Awesome.
Perfect. Everyone, take a look at Real Mitch Anthony. Mitch will be back on next year, with the rest of the trifecta. We're gonna have Donnie.
Yeah, we got to do a show like that by the beach.
And we're gonna take it to 11 till 5 a.m.
Are we out of time?
The venue is subject to change.
No, we're not out of time. We're
okay.
No, we're not. No, we're not. But
I feel like we're just getting started.
We can keep going.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I tried to actually. I reached out to Jorge Masvidal on LinkedIn, but I don't think he reads his LinkedIn. But I try to connect with him, see if he'd come on the show, talk to UFC, because to me UFC is exciting, man. It's just like better than boxing right now. And I can only have you ever done work like in the events like at UFC? Like have you actually shot any of that?
I have not actually shot any UFC events itself. I have gotten offers to. The money wasn't as good as it should have been. That's not their fault. But no, but I think, like I said, good things will come. Good things are forthcoming. Bigger things are forthcoming. So I have all the confidence in the world that eventually I will shoot something else UFC related. Yeah. In Vegas or whenever that comes back. So yeah, we'll see. Follow my Instagram and we'll find out together.
There you go. Go ahead, Mike.
What do we got?
Oh, there you go. Put him in their place, champ, and have everything you want.
He's referring to I get very specific when we do a production about our craft services and our crafty, which is the department which feeds the crew and the cast and everything like that. So I have a specific list of stuff that I like myself, and I try to get them to get it right. It's like my one. I only have a few things that I'm very specific about that I want on a set, and the correct food and drink is one of them. That's all I ask, and a check.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I mean, without you, there's no show. You know, the show can't go on without you, right? So
it's true. I'd like to think so, and I'd hate to find out.
So, you mentioned a little bit about reality TV. Were you talking more on this True Future TV, or did you do other reality TV shows in the past?
I've done other reality TV shows, more the thing that people think about reality TV, like actual reality TV, like VH1 and TLC and stuff like that. So yes, I've done actual reality TV. Some of the shows I can't talk about that I've been on, but I don't know if you guys are married, but it's probably the stuff that your wives or girlfriends or daughters watch all the time. Yeah. And it's an interesting production to be attached to. It's definitely not as interesting as it seems in person, or it's not as interesting as it seems on TV. It's very boring. It's usually very slow. A ton of it is editing. And the question that I get a lot is reality TV real? Kind of, yes and no. So the situations are real and the people are real. However, there is a ton of embellishments, and it's interesting. I try not to get back into reality TV. It's usually not very high paying, and it's just pretty monotonous, and it's very long hours, and it's pretty boring to shoot.
Yeah. And it's boring on TV too when I watch it. My wife would say differly.
Yeah,
not against you, because you're not the one coming up with the concept. You're
no. Well, so it's funny. The kind of the way that reality TV works is the producer, and this is why I don't want him. I'll tell you off air, but the producers kind of plant these little seeds with the characters. You know, they'll snake and whisper into their ears. And like, hey,
is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah, he said this about you at dinner last night. And they'll plant these little seeds, and then the way that situations occur is those seeds will grow into big drama plants that they film. So that's kind of how, you know, it's the drama is ongoing. The producers plant these little seeds, and like they watch them grow, and how can we edit this and make this into something really dramatic? And but yeah, that's kind of how reality TV happens. It's not scripted, but there's outlines, which is kind of weird.
So The Bachelor is all bullshit. It's like, you know, whatever.
I've never worked on The Bachelor, so I can comment on this. It is not real.
Oh, here we go. Breaking news.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's professional opinion.
It's professional. Yeah, it's professional love. In other words,
I did not tell you that.
We're live.
yeah. That's good to know.
Yikes.
But listen, Mitch,
we're gonna have to scrub that.
Yeah, we'll have to scrub that. But this was a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on tonight, man. We will do it on location 11, and then after that, we'll do the SLS pool party. We could do that. Maybe go to patio and do it on location there, or something like that.
Let's do it. Let's just turn this into a reality TV show and just travel around and film it.
Hey, man, not a bad.
Let's do it.
100% down.
Good idea.
I have that.
I'm down. What do you think, Mike?
I have that Donnie spirit. I'll get into development with you, and we'll just make something super cool.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, whatever you can do to help us out, man, we really appreciate it. So
yeah, no problem. Let's go.
Dottie is down. Man, we can do the show. We can have we can have hostesses as well, you know, give like some sports insight or what have you.
Yeah, sure.
You know, do things like that. So we get creative with it. We can do some things.
Yeah, and next time I do want to talk a little bit more sports with you guys, like college football and stuff. That's like my I love that. I'm disappointed we didn't kind of get to it. This has all been about me. I want to
honestly,
interview you guys.
Well, listen.
It was a lot of great stuff that you came with, man.
Yeah, man. You had some good stuff.
I just opened my head and just it all came out.
You want to
filter.
give us a little something about college football right now?
Yeah, share it before.
Let
Yeah,
us know your
last one
thoughts
before.
and,
Yeah, go ahead.
I will leave you with. I will
Leave
leave
us
you
with
with
something good.
2 nuggets that I'll plant some seeds for you here. I'll plant 2 seeds that hopefully will develop into plants that we can flower and water in the future on a future show.
Oh, absolutely.
One, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. That might be an unpopular team choice to pick. I get a lot of shit for that one, actually. But hopefully we're 11-2 now. I hope that we can finish off regular 14-2. 3 key games coming up. Roethlisberger's thinking about hanging it up.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's necessarily wrong for that thought, but I guess we'll see how the next 3 games go. I'm very hopeful, and hopefully we can make it 2 and have a good postseason. I'll leave you with that nugget. We can talk about that in the future. Okay. And 2, very controversial statement. I think that college football is arguably more exciting than the NFL. That's also sometimes a very unpopular opinion, and I don't know what you guys think about that. But the college, and I mentioned this in my in our correspondence before this.
Yes.
College football is very, very exciting, and I think they play with a much deeper meaning than the NFL. Not to say that the NFL players don't care about their records or their personal stats or getting to a postseason and ultimately a Super Bowl, but college football, they definitely play for their teammates. They play for their programs, the alumni, the student body, and the ultimate school as a whole. And I think that that's the environment around college football is so much more exciting than NFL will ever be or has ever been. So those are the 2 nuggets that I leave you with, and hopefully we can water these.
Yes.
And I will come back on the air and we will dissect and unpack these things.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Do you think that the name image like this is going to change it a little bit, change the landscape of the college sports a little bit, like make people's heads a little bit bigger and not have more of that, team first mentality?
So another maybe controversial statement if you've ever played football, but it's who's usually the big jaw jackers on the team or in the program? It's usually the receivers, is it not? They're usually the most outspoken characters, quote unquote, and those are the ones that get a full head. I've never in my life heard of an O-lineman getting a swell head. Maybe that's because an O-lineman has never been featured on the front of a video game. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I think it could possibly alter it a bit. Now, what's my stance on should they get paid or not? I don't think that they should be getting these big multi-million-dollar contracts or anything like that, because that's where you start to run into problems. I think that they should earn a living wage as any job would provide that a college kid could get. Yep. So a minimum wage, something to support themselves through school, food and all of that. But should they be getting NFL-sized checks? I don't think so. And I think that middle ground is probably where you kind of keep them in check, but you kind of give them what they want to, because they do need money. The life of a college athlete is not easy. It's a grind. They don't have really any money because they're spending so much time on the field. So I think that might be the middle ground. But you know what? Hey, they don't come to me for the solutions. If they did, maybe we could work something out. But
there we go.
Don't ask my opinion, but for what it's worth, that's what it is. So 3 nuggets I just gave you. 3 nuggets that we can save, we can hopefully unpack in future episodes.
Oh yes,
we can stir some controversy. Hopefully.
Well, I was going to add to that nugget. We had what was it? What was Andrew? We had a gentleman from social media. He's a big social media. He's writing a book about social media. Aaron Eisman, right? And he was talking about how these kids coming into high school, going into college, are going to have these big followings, TikTok, Instagram. So they'll be able to capitalize on that and make tons of money. So they'll have a brand by the time they get to their first, second season of football. So that's going to change, I think, college football, and it's going to make these guys even bigger.
Yes, and then I'd love to actually see how the NCAA responds to that, in that, hey, we're gonna limit this, or we're gonna kind of govern this, and how that goes about, because they already do that, just not on an internet basis.
Right.
They limit the kinds of endorsements and X, Y, and Z that a player can be attached to, and what brands can be attached to them, and how that all works. So
Yeah.
I think if you're talking about them going that route with internet and social media and stuff, I think you're probably going to see the NCAA get more involved and just try to be like, hey, that's our money.
See, I can't see that, man. If a kid comes in with his likeness and he's got, let's say, a couple million followers on the gram, like, how are you going to regulate that? Like, how are you going to tell that kid, you know what, that some of that money's ours? Like, no way.
The NCAA is a business. They're very good at getting their money, and I am confident they'll find a way to make it happen.
They're like Uncle Sam getting their taxes.
Oh, they'll find a way. Absolutely. So I don't know, but hey, we can talk about that in future episodes. I'd love to stay with you guys, but you're shooing me off.
No, yeah, we got a news and notes segment that we do. So that's all it is.
Gotcha.
It's crazy that we try to keep interviews to a half an hour, and every single one of the last 7, 8, we've been 50 to an hour.
An hour, yeah.
That's a good problem to have. That means you're having good people on, and maybe you guys should think about doing here's where we're going to cover the big stuff in this segment, and then if you want to continue, there's a different platform or an exclusive subscriber base. That's how you guys get your money. And you can follow the conversation with them there. And that allows for a longer dialogue, and you guys are kind of cashing in.
Wow, well said.
Creative.
As long as I get a percentage.
Oh, you'll get a cut. Yeah, we'll work that out.
Fine by me.
And Donnie wants to take it to Vegas.
Yeah. I love the idea.
Oh, God. This is getting better and better, man. We're doing Miami. We're doing Vegas. What is next?
Let's go. 2021 is going to be a blast. Let's go.
Hopefully, if we can get back to normal, we're going to do some very big things. So I'm excited.
We will. It's around the corner.
Hopefully.
Don't sweat it. We'll get there. But until then, Mitch, have a great holiday. Have a
Mitch,
have
a great holiday.
Happy and healthy New Year, and we will be in touch. And we'll definitely be getting you back on, and meeting in person and
on location,
Miami and Vegas, whatever, doesn't matter.
I am absolutely excited for whatever comes next. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Send me an email with all the equipment you got in that little studio. I want
to. For real. If you, that'd be great, man.
Yeah. This little setup. This is nothing like really super crazy, just because it's for internet. But I'll definitely give you guys some guidance, and I'll get Donnie to chime in too. He loves that. He loves to build things. He'll develop you guys. So we'll get on some cool stuff for you, and maybe in 2021, the Fan Experience podcast will look different.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Oh, yes. It will.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope to come back sooner rather than later, maybe early 2021.
Yes.
And
we're going to start doing a third show. Like we do 2 shows a week now, so we're going to do a third. We're going to do 3 shows a week starting in 2021. Okay. So you might be the inaugural third show guest.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm so excited because I love making controversial statements, and I feel like this is the platform at which I can make those controversial statements. So let's get it done.
Yeah. So for our inaugural show, it will be the controversial statement show, and the floor will be yours, my friend.
And real quick, Lamar Jackson, cramps or not?
Sure. If that's what he wants to spin it into, if that's what his PR people said, let's go with. Sure, why not? What were you guys talking about earlier? The taco cramps. Was that the same conversation?
Yeah, something like he was saying that he ate some tacos and he got some cramps.
I came in late. I didn't actually eat tacos. It was a joke. But I just came in late just to, pull a little Lamar Jackson coming to the show, like
from Taco Tuesday cramps.
Yep.
All right. Hey, that's what if that's what your PR department is going with for the excuse, I'm all on board. It was Taco
Listen, man.
Tuesday cramps, and that's why you're late. Hey, it's your show. You can do whatever the hell you want.
If Lamar Jackson,
No, I was good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Lamar.
If Lamar Jackson is smart, his PR people are on the phone with Charmin today for a deal. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. That's how you bring things full circle. I did have a cramps, and here you go.
Yeah.
Nah, he was going to find Odell.
I can't comment on that at this time.
For the next episode.
We just don't have the time.
Too controversial.
Yes, we'll save it for the.
It's not controversial enough. We just don't have the time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mitch, thank you, man. This was a blast, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I will see you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Peace. Oh, that was awesome, man. See,
all right.
you see that?
I mean, we just have to like extend this show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do like
we're
a 2 hour. It's going to be like a 2 hour podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it like
can't
it's gonna have to be 2 hours.
We can't start it at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna have to
we might. You know what?
Up
Next,
a little bit. And,
I think we might have to go to like an 8:15, 8:30 start, right? And then I think maybe, like you were right. So for those of you, we always try to tweak the show for our viewers. And we were talking about today, maybe just when we do an open, instead of doing our normal monologue, we might just have to jump into the guest and go from there.
Yep.
That's the play. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and please let us know what you think out there.
I mean, we could have got another hour.
We could have.
It's just
because
we got news and notes coming up. Yeah,
in 2021, we are going to. So yeah, I mean, let's do a quick one.
And by the way, that portion of the show was brought to you by playthefielddating.com. Go to playthefielddating.com to find your MVP, whether it's starting softball league, meeting that special someone, that special mate, as we like to say, or just connecting with sports fans. If you go to playthefielddating.com, which is on beta right now, you can go ahead and take advantage of that. And as we like to say on this show, find your MVP.
Absolutely. Go check it out, please. You want to open with the Greek Freak?
Let's talk about the Greek Freak. The Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo today.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Listen.
There you go.
I have Greek friends.
It's not
Greek
as easy as potatoes, but
but Giannis Antetokounmpo today signed a 5-year, $228 million contract extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. He will be part of the Bucks team for the next 5 years. Good for the city of Milwaukee, because cities like that don't keep stars like that. I mean, we talked 45 years ago, I guess, Lou Alcindor then became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, leaves Milwaukee to go to the Los Angeles Lakers, and then, obviously wins, 4 or 5 titles over there, whatever it was. Plays with Magic Johnson, and it's just, obviously he was an all-time great, but just took it to another level. But good for them. His quote was, Milwaukee's his city. This is his team. He wants to grow something there. He feels comfortable there. They do got to get him some help, though. They got to get him another star to play with. They got to get him some help. But, 5 years, 228, good for him. This was a kid who shared shoes with his brother. This was a kid who, sold stuff on the streets, slept in a gym. So when you hear a story like that, man, I mean, it's just incredible. So congratulations to Giannis.
Yes, congratulations. Well deserved. And, he could buy a lot of diners with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, man, I love my Greek diners, my Greek people.
Yeah,
I had a Greek omelet on Friday morning. It was delicious. Feta cheese, tomatoes, little onions. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. After my cramps subside, maybe I'll go have one.
You're not gonna live that down, are you? I'm telling you, man. His people need to go. They need to be on the phone with like Charmin or Bounty or like Snuggle. And
Bounty.
be like, look,
damn, man, that must be rough if you're using Bounty.
Well, whatever kind of toilet paper that whatever that they make out there, and then just say, hey, listen, sign an endorsement deal, or wherever he ate the night before, like sign an endorsement deal for that. If he went to McDonald's or something, sign that.
Yeah, true that. So Scott Boras is, he's been mouthing off a little bit in the press, and obviously he's up in arms about everyone saying that they lost revenue in 2020 and that they're not signing these big deals. Mitch will go another 4 hours with us, and we can go another 4 hours too, Mitch.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna set it up. The show next year is gonna be a little different. We're gonna get a little more creative with the show. We're gonna probably extend the time. We're gonna have a third. We're gonna have a third guest host. We're gonna find somebody.
I mean, we could definitely have you on as a guest host one day too, man.
Yeah,
we can really get that going too, because we're looking to get sprinkling some guest hosts and things like that. So we'll definitely figure all that stuff out for sure. What was I saying? Scott Boras, and he actually thanks, Mitch. Excited to be a part of it. The next Barstool.
That's the goal, my friend. That is the goal.
Appreciate it. We need a better studio for sure.
Yeah. So if you can help us out with that, man, I'm impressed with the way that mic was just clean and set up. So if you can help us out with that,
you got the trees in the background.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
It looked like a 60 Minutes interview. It looked great.
60 Minutes don't got nothing on that.
Yeah, that's true. But
no, man. And he's like, and that was the low key studio.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he just kind of put that together and be like, all right, that's good.
Yeah, man. I mean, damn. I'll next year we're gonna have it.
Yeah. So Scott Boras was complaining about contracts. Are you serious?
Yeah, people aren't signing his contract, but he says he says about Steve Cohen. He goes, it must be nice for the Mets to have somebody with big apples. And
I mean, look, man, Steve Cohen is winning hearts and minds of Mets fans. I don't know if you saw him out there this week.
He's liking it.
He likes being an owner. He likes being engaged with the fans. Did you see him there on? Was it Friday or Saturday? They were giving out the bobbleheads, and he was out there with his wife giving out the bobbleheads.
Yep.
And so and that's what you want out of your owner, man. I mean, that's a cool one. Like I'm a Yankee fan, but Hal Steinbrenner's not going to do that. I don't know if he's going to go out there. Brian Cashman will do that as a general manager. He does a lot. He goes skydiving. He a big emphasis on like homelessness. He sleeps outside and does things like that. But like you won't see Hal Steinbrenner or anybody like that doing that. So kudos to Steve Cohen is trying to win New York City. The battle has begun. So
yeah. No, I mean it's the most exciting offseason to be a Mets fan in I can't even remember. I love the developments and I love the atmosphere, the culture that's going on. The Mets just signed James McCann
to a 4 years, $40 million, right?
Years. And then they also got a GM, Jared Porter, coming over from Arizona.
Correct.
So they're saying they got a porterhouse for Porter and a Big Mac for James McCann. That's the stuff going around the Twitterverse over there. They're all making food analogies and the big apples from Scott Boras. But I've seen that floating around. But looking good. I mean, I think we can get Trevor Bauer, George Springer, or one of the two. I think it would be a good move. I would probably resort to Bauer over Springer just because pitching wins championships.
Pitching wins, man. Pitching wins.
Yeah, pitching wins, and I think we got the offensive pieces. If we had to choose one or the other, I would choose Bauer.
Yeah. And little NBA news: James Harden reported to the Houston Rockets, and I don't know if you saw this. I saw this on Twitter. There was a picture of him, and he looked like he had a couple of Big Macs over the offseason.
It literally just popped up for me.
My man was looking a little portly, So, listen, who knows what's going to happen with that, whether he's going to stay in Houston or somebody's going to trade for him. But, James Harden,
There we go.
there he is. There he is. It looks like me. I mean, obviously he's 6'6", but James, we got to get in the gym, buddy. Got to get, I mean, I'm sure he'll
he can play basketball just a little bit better
yeah,
than you.
tad, a little bit better, tad.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, James Harden reported to the Rockets.
Yeah.
Either in regardless of whether they got John Wall, I think he's looking for the way out. I think he wants to go to Brooklyn, as Mike almost has a light accident over there. That's what happens on live shows, people. I mean, things just break, fall, you name it.
That's what happens when you don't have. This is what happens when you don't have Mitch setting up your studio.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just what it is. But yeah, so we'll see. Listen, I would love if the Knicks. Yeah, if the Knicks could find a way to make a trade for that guy, it'd be great, but not going to happen. So it's just what it is. And let's see.
In other news, that the Jets lost again this week.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mike and I are devout Jets fans. I think I'm a little more obsessive than he is about my beloved Jets. But they lost again. What was the final score? 40-3 or whatever it was. I mean, Geno Smith came into the game. I mean, Jamal Adams, broke a sack record. I mean, you just can't make it up how bad this has gotten from the New York Jets. With 3 weeks left, folks. Adam Gase will be gone January 4th is my best guess. Yes, that's a Monday. Yeah, January 4th, they'll announce that he's gone, and the search begins for a new coach. Hopefully one with some credibility. Hopefully one who knows what he's doing. And hopefully one will mess with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, we just have to wait for January 4th. Yeah. We wish it would have came a lot sooner, but let them just continue tanking, get Trevor Lawrence. And, I mean, let's see. I still think that, Trevor Lawrence or no Trevor Lawrence, there's still 5 years away from contending.
Right. Well, listen, I mean, look, Miami got rid of Gase in 2 years already. They're a playoff team.
Yeah, but they got a good defense.
They got a good defense, but why? They traded
a good defense for a minute
right,
too.
But they traded Minka Fitzpatrick to the Steelers. They got some draft picks. They were able to load up that defense. They were able to they tanked last year.
Yeah, you're right. We do have a lot of draft picks.
Mm-hmm. They signed Tua, so a lot of
draft picks that we could use.
They traded Laramie Tunsil to the Texans. They got a bunch of picks out of that deal too. So, they did it right. So, I just think that Miami's a year away from really taking off. So there you go. That is our motto.
Hey, Josh Allen looked good against the Steelers, man.
Josh Allen.
I mean, after the first quarter, but they figured it out and he looked good.
Josh Allen's a star, mi amigo.
MVP conversation, but I think he's right around there. But I think it's probably going to be Rodgers or Mahomes.
Aaron Rodgers on another level this year. I mean, he's on another level. All right.
Yeah. Well, the Mahomes three interception game was a little rough. But talking about the Jets, let's talk about my adopted team because they play on Thursday night.
Let's go to the Book It Sports app.
I got it up already. Yep, I got it. It takes 2 seconds because that's just the way it is.
Our boys at Book It, Trent, Nick, and Dave, they're doing well over there.
Book it right away.
So I got
Thursday. The Chargers are visiting Las Vegas, and honestly, it was kind of a surprising spread, but Vegas has been faltering, so I get it. But Vegas is favored by 3.5 only. I definitely would have expected it to be more in their home turf, but
I think Vegas is begging you to take the Chargers. I'm taking Vegas, and I'm taking Vegas to cover.
You think they're begging you to take the Chargers with 3.5? I don't know. I feel like they're begging you to take the Raiders.
Why? Because they played really crappy the last couple of weeks. I mean, they had a rough game against the Jets.
I don't know. I kind of feel like the Raiders are easy lock for a touchdown. I'm actually that's why I'm surprised. It's only 3.5.
Really?
I think they won by a touchdown.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I like the Raiders.
Yeah. But you said that they
No,
want
I
you to
think
pick the
Vegas
Chargers for some
I
reason.
think Vegas thinks the Chargers are going to cover, and I
They're gonna
don't.
keep it closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh
don't
well,
think so
hold on
either.
one second. Hold on one second. Here's a development. Henry Ruggs is on the COVID-19 list.
Ah. Yeah, but they
So
still got Darren Waller.
they got Waller,
They got Jacobs.
they got Jacobs, but still. All
But
right.
Keenan Allen has also got a hammy issue.
Mm-hmm.
Last I checked, at least.
And the Raiders
But
have
I am
lost
not-
three out of the Raiders have lost 3 of the last 4. That's probably why they're 3.5 point favorites.
No, I know. I know they're on the. Keenan Allen was a limited participant in practice today. Okay, that's good. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to check fantasy updates here.
Yeah.
Because I have Keenan Allen on my team in the semifinals. So
There we go. But I
he's
like the Raiders minus 3.5. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I do too. Ruggs, no Ruggs. I Waller and Jacobs and Aguilar. Let's not forget Aguilar. Unless the COVID thing, is.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Unless the COVID is spreading past Ruggs,
No, I think they were able to isolate it. I think they'll be okay. But
If it's just Ruggs, I still see the Raiders winning this game by close to a touchdown.
All right, folks, there you go. That is our pick for Thursday night's game. We're going Raiders minus 3.5. We'd like to thank our guest, Mitch Anthony, for coming out tonight. We'd like to thank all the viewers for listening and catching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, on their Mike's profile. You can also catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. What am I missing, Mike? Twitter.
Google, yeah. We're on
Captivate.
Twitter. We're on Twitch. YouTube,
That's what it was.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So we're in pretty much any place podcasts are played as well. But obviously the video version is the most authentic version, but the audio version is just as good. And they will be up come tomorrow. They'll be up on all the podcast channels.
Yes.
And we have one more show.
One more show for
the
season 1,
year of
Thursday night.
2020.
Our
Season 1
44th
finale.
episode.
Yep. 44 episodes in this year. We started it in end of July, and it's been a fun ride, and we can't wait for season 2. But before season 2, we got that season finale this Thursday. Great guest in store for you. Great way to bookend the season, and we can't wait to come back on Thursday. Until then, 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you in a few days.
And go to playthefielddating.com. Sign up. See you on Thursday, people. Peace.
Buddy up, recruit teammates, and find your MVP. Have a good night, everybody.
Do you want to meet other sports enthusiasts like yourself? Playing the Field can help you connect with people who love sports as much as you do. For friendship or romance. You can showcase up to 5 of your favorite teams on your profile trading card to make it easier to find fellow sports fans. Now you can talk about sports, go to the games, or play sports with others who share your interests. Find out more at playthefieldnow.com.